What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Tate Talks Sports Podcast. Back with another video. Today is another different one on the topic of my problem with the NBA. This may be a bit of an unusual video, but I found myself this year not watching nearly as many regular season games as I had in the past years, basically since getting into the NBA, and I wanted to think about what was the reason for that. There were probably many reasons that really stacked up to it. For me, interest in other sports and kind of, just not being necessarily as interested. But I did pinpoint one thing that is kind of ruining my general enjoyment of watching basketball, even in these playoffs. It's happening and it's bothering me. And it's not flopping, it's not super teams, and it's not necessarily the 3-point shot. What it is for me is the quick three with no buildup being considered a good shot, and a shot that's being taken way too often, in my opinion. Now, what do I mean by the quick three? The quick three, I mean, it's something where a player will dribble up, quickly pass to a guy on the wing, and they shoot a semi-contested three that's probably a few feet behind the line, and that's considered a good shot. Another version of this shot is a good player might dribble up between the legs one or two times, quick sidestep three, make it a deep three, and shoot. And sure, these shots go in some of the time, but there's no pass play that builds up. There's no pick and roll that leads to it. There's no set piece that leads to it. It's just a three that just gets shot. There's almost, I don't want to say no skill, because obviously there's skill involved with shooting a three, and it's very tough, especially in the NBA. But when you're used to a pick and roll leading to something, or a drive and kick, or a slick dribble move and pass off, this just kind of seemingly bailout shot is a real bummer when you're looking for action in a game. And what really bothers me is that this 3-point shot is basically being given the same value as a play being run for a layup, or a pick and roll leading to a shot, or a dunk. And it's sure, it's 3 points, therefore it's more value technically, but with the percentages, it's probably the same value. But is that really as good as would you rather see movement leading to a three, and a pass play leading to a three, or a set piece leading to an open shot, or a pick and roll leading to a dunk or an open shot? Me personally, it's so much better than just a quick dump off three. And it's just movement versus stagnation is what it is for me. And the quick pull up three, to me, is just kind of a very washed down version of what a sharpshooter should be. And I'm going to kind of get into that right now. I'm going to give two examples of sharpshooters, one in the more traditional sense, and the more common sense, at least up to this day and age, and then one of the more current sharpshooters, if you will, and the difference between them, and hopefully you'll see why I don't like the stagnant shooters compared to the traditional sharpshooters. So the first example, one of my favorite players, Kyle Korver, such a great player, such a great shooter nonetheless, played for many, many teams and was a good player for many, many teams. But specifically, I mainly got to watch him on the Cavs when he was playing with LeBron and Kyrie and those other guys. And he is just the stereotypical sharpshooter. If you had to design a sharpshooter, it's Kyle Korver. But how he gets his shot, a play is ran for him to be open, or he has really smart off-ball movement. One thing that I noticed about him, especially when I started to watch him on the Cavs, is he would come firing off screens a lot. A screen would be set, he'd come firing off, and he was able to shoot while moving and make the three. Or LeBron would make a slick move, get to the baseline, and wrap around pass to Kyle Korver in the corner, and bang, hit a three. Very rarely would he just quick trigger semi contested three after nothing happened. He may have done it more often, but he at the same time was very often getting these quick movement threes. Maybe if he was on a hot streak, he would shoot, these threes like that. But this is what I want you to think of, or what I would like to see as a sharpshooter, a guy who's off-ball movement, moving around, getting screens, a play is being ran for him, and he's getting a three that way. The movement, not stagnation. I want you to remember that's my big point here, is movement versus stagnation. And the example of a more current day shooter is a guy like Ben McLemore being considered a sharpshooter. And to his credit and every other current day sharpshooter, they are fantastic shooters. They hit the threes, more than the average player. That's obviously why they're a sharpshooter, but they're great shooters. My problem with them is they just sit on the wing or in the corner and get a quick pass to a three most of the time, or they'll get that other shot that I was talking about where they'll dribble up, quick sidestep three because they're a decent shooter. There's no play buildup. Very, very not often is there a play buildup for a shooter like these guys. They're great shooters, but their 3-point shots don't come off of plays or pick and rolls or firing off screens. It's, again, stagnant, and it's just not what I want to see. And I can't imagine it's what a lot of people want to see. I want to see the movement. I want to see the Spurs ball movement all around the key and back that leads to an open shot. I want to see a pick and roll or a pick and fade leading to a guy being wide open. I don't like that this just stagnant, no movement 3-point shot is given the same value as a play being ran for a layup or a play being ran for a screen that leads to an open shot. I just don't like how much value is being put in this shot. And that, I think, is one of my biggest problems. I hate when that 3-point shot is being shot, even by some of the best shooters. Maybe not Curry because he's different, or Harden because he's got that step back three, or KD, but like the top of the line players, when they do it, it's fine. But even the all-star players like Tatum, or I can't think of necessarily other examples right now, or like SGA, or man, I'm really struggling for players. Even I guess Donovan Mitchell is good at it, but there's just when it's not a superstar who is a dead shot shooter, even when they are doing it, I don't like to see it. I love to see the movement. That's why I love players like Luka Doncic so much. Why I love players like Giannis so much, but specifically Luka, because he does so much. Occasionally, yes, he does the step back three, but most of the time it's coming off of him getting a screen and doing some dribble moves. But when it's just dribbling up the floor and shooting a three just for the sake of the 3-point shot being considered more valuable, it's just a big problem for me. And it's really the problem I've identified with what I don't like about the NBA this year. And as far as a solution goes, I really don't have a direct solution. If there's one idea that I have, it's maybe moving the 3-point line back, just because it has been done before, not necessarily being moved back, but it was moved closer, I believe, in the 80s or 90s. And it was a big problem. A lot of players started shooting threes, but that's not what I'm talking about. I don't want it to be moved forward. I want it to be moved back, just so that the shooters who are really, really actually good shooters like Curry and Dame and guys like that, they'll be given even more value because they can shoot that deep three. And but it comes with its own problems. Obviously, if you move the 3-point line back, especially in the corners and the sidelines, the court becomes smaller. So to a degree, the court would probably have to become bigger just to give more room in the corners. And obviously, can that even happen? I have no idea. That's why this solution, I'm not really sure if it's a viable one, and I'm not really sure how to fix it. But it's just the problem I've noticed with the NBA, and it's I don't like it, and it's ruining the game a bit for me. Some people may like it, but for me, I don't like it, and I think somehow it needs to be fixed. And I'll leave this video off with a quote that I got from Rachel Nichols. I'm not sure where she got it, but it's one of my favorite quotes, because I am obviously not an advocate for the 3-point shot, but it goes like this: 3 points is more than 2, but 2 points is more than 0. And I love that quote because so much value is being placed on the 3-point shot nowadays, but so many people don't make it. And if they just shot a 2 every once in a while, they'd probably be in the same spot, if not a better position than the 3-point shooters. So that's it for me in this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed, a bit of a different one and a different vibe, but it's just a big issue I've noticed in the NBA, and I wanted to talk about it, and I wanted to put it out here for you guys to see and hear your opinions on what maybe you guys think is a problem with the NBA, or if you don't think there's one and you think this 3-point shot that I don't like is a good shot and a good thing for the NBA. Please let me know in the comments. I would love to see what you guys have to say. If you have any ideas that you want me to make a video on, please let me know, and I will be sure to do that. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.